Oh my god, that was my nickname in high school. Hello everyone, it's been 20 years since my last upload, but also since Kingdom Hearts first released to the world, this magical fever dream that escaped Tetsuya Nomura's belt-addled mind, and I mean that fully positively. I love that man. And with that 20th birthday came a whole bunch of trailers, which I will look at now, live on air. This isn't actually live, this is a script I'm writing, this is pre-recorded. For the first time in what a very charitable liar would call a career, I'm trying to be timely. Let's see how that works out. I did record my live reactions the minute the trailers dropped because I know those get the big YouTube hits, but they were very boring and I have standards, believe it or not. So I decided not to make a video out of them, have a supercut instead. It's a beautiful logo. Oh. Oh my god, it's the upperclassmen. They all look cool. Kingdom Hearts. Who are you? When is it coming out? When is it coming out? Come on, tell me. August. Jesus, an entire year longer. What's this? Yes? No. Is it reunion? Yo. Oh my god, it's set in that time. Oh, it's a phone game. Oh, I swear to god, Kingdom Hearts. Oh, I hate this. No. Oh my god, it's Brain. Kingdom Hearts. Missing Link. Oh my god, it's iOS and Android. I hate this. This is horrid. The Lost Master arc. Oh my god, Sora's grown up. Oh my god, he has new hair every time his hair gets less. Strelitzia? Yo! Is that Darkseid? Oh my god, it is. It's big bonker Darkseid. Whoa. The Master of Masters. Kingdom Hearts 4, baby. Let's go. Oh my god. It's Donald! Are they in the realm of darkness? What are they looking for? Is this fucking Hades? Wow, excitement! If I had known that they would delay this game for an entire year, because yeah, you heard that right, Dark Road is releasing in August 2022, a far cry from its target of September 2021, or this winter. To be fair, I know that there's only 2 people working on this game because it's not going to make Square any money, and I find it commendable that Nomura is still so committed to telling this story instead of just leaving it unfinished. But come on, I stayed up late to edit my predictions, which you can still watch by the way, seeing as it will stay relevant until August, and then you can watch it again to see how wrong I was. But personal grievances aside, Dark Road looks very nice. Yeah, I know we're all here for the big IV, but make no mistakes, I believe all of these characters will become important one way or another. The first thing that greets us is Old Man Xehanort, whose baldness is apparently a mystery that will be unraveled? Question mark? Nomura had a Q&A at the event, and that was one of the things he mentioned. From the brilliant mind that said the most important mystery 0.2 has to explain is why was Mickey shirtless in Kingdom Hearts? Michael, don't expose your breast, Michael. Sora and Riku are only teenagers, this is not appropriate. Anyway, Old Man Xehanort. We see him talking to the magic mirror, which is great news on 2 fronts. Number 1, we get to see what Xehanort was doing during the events of Birth by Sleep, except for creeping on princesses and lusting after Terra's body like the lewd old man that he is. And second, I think this, in combination with other scenes in this trailer, give me the impression that the Disney World stories in Dark Road are actually going to be good? Or decent, at least. Not only do we see Xehanort talking to the magic mirror, but we also see the kids taking the magic lamp from Agrabah with them, which may potentially harken back to the genie knowing about the keyhole in Kingdom Hearts 1, and, most intriguing of all, we see the upperclassmen fighting Dragon Maleficent and speaking about Princess Aurora being cursed, which brings me to 2 conclusions. Number 1, there's some data, dream, memory, illusion, projection bullshit going on, like in Chain of Memories, and Coded, and Dream Drop Distance, and Key. and Union Cross, they pull this a lot, perhaps involving the Book of Prophecies. Or number 2, the time dilation in the worlds is so extreme that the 16 years it took from Maleficent cursing baby Aurora to her getting thwarted by Terra, Aqua, and Ventus in Birth by Sleep spanned 70 years in the original franchise worlds, which would be insane but also funny because it meant that Maleficent met Xehanort as a child and then after 16 years saw him looking like this. Having mentioned them, let's talk about the upperclassmen. They all seem to have unique designs, and I'm very excited to meet them all, instead of them just being dead or never named NPCs like Sora's poor mother.
Sora, dinner's ready, come on down. Sora?
And they all look cool. We have black-haired Kakashi, Claude from the hit video game Fire Emblem Three Houses, the daughter of Jul Nabat and Sephiroth, my OTP, what is obviously Baldur's sister, Kadaj from Advent Children, glad to see him get more work, also bets on this being Riku's grandfather because why the hell not at this point, obligatory pink girl, and someone who will obviously be named Thor. I called it in my predictions, this guy is named Thor, and I will not relent on this point. He is blonde, he has pelts, this is Thor. Speaking of my predictions video, in said video, which you can watch here, hint hint nudge nudge, I posited that one of the upperclassmen will fulfill the Loki role of being the instigator of doom, whether intentionally or unintentionally, and I'm almost 21% sure that it's this guy, the Claude ripoff. I mean, he talks to Master Odin at some point about summoning Kingdom Hearts, which is forbidden, we've been told.
Summoning Kingdom Hearts is forbidden!
And then later on, he convinces the gang to take the magic lamp to, quote, find light that's strong enough to accomplish their shared goal, which I believe to be, judging by context clues, summoning Kingdom Hearts in a misguided attempt to defeat the darkness. And maybe that's where Xehanort gets his dumb ideas from, which would be reason number 6 or 7 why he decided to do what he did. Also note that Ericus looks fucking pissed in this picture, which just fuels the fire of my 21% surefire theory. Oh, and Darkness, don't think I forget about them. In the trailer, we see one of the 13 Darknesses, presumably the one that remained. Just briefly, but it's there, which is another bingo on my prediction list. And we're gonna see how Darkness makes Xehanort bald and gives him yellow eyes. It's like testosterone that way, with the baldness, not with the yellow eyes. Master Odin is also in this picture doing full Gandalf in the Mines of Moria cosplay, and he's still not the Master of Masters, who has also one line in this trailer, it's delightful, and so is he, and that's all I have to say on either of them. It's an unwritten era, which is true of every era before it's committed to paper, or in this case Pixel Kingdom Hearts, so I don't know whose mind you think you're blowing with this. Kingdom Hearts Missing Link is the newest Kingdom Hearts mobile game, taking place in between Union Cross and Dark Road, right after Union Cross's post-credit scene. The trailer starts off with an absolute banger version of Dearly Beloved, which is good, because the actual game shown is decidedly less banger. It's a mobile game, which I take to mean gacha, pay-to-win garbage if Union Cross was any indication. This time it seems to be little amiibo-esque figures, which I'd be highly surprised if these weren't turned into actual figurines you can buy somewhere down the line. The general feel of the game though seems to be less Union Cross and more Genshin Impact meets Pokemon Go? As someone who has played neither of these games, I couldn't tell you, to be honest. But people who played Genshin Impact told me that it's kinda almost a good comparison, and I'm a very trusting person who doesn't check his sources, so if there's one thing that they can take inspiration from Genshin from, it's porting this crap to everything under the stars, please, so that I can be grumpy about it while playing it on my PC. Because if I attempted to play this on my ancient phone, it would explode. It's nice to see them using Kingdom Hearts 3 assets, finally proving once and for all that we're done with the assets we've been hauling with us since the first Kingdom Hearts. Now, in the trailer, we see, aside from Scala and Kylum, gameplay taking place in Kingdom of Corona, no, not that Corona, Monstropolis, and what looks like the incorrupted enchanted dominion in the realm of darkness. I'm fairly certain these choices were made to use assets that had already been available, because they're not going to make new Disney World assets for a mobile game, unless it's Wreck-It Ralph, but I still wonder how they can possibly justify their presence here. Oh wait, through bullshit, I forgot. Or the world visits are not going to be canon, that could also be the case. But aside from that, a few things that were shown in the trailer looked funky and interesting. interesting. In the trailer, we see familiar faces in what I presume to be Lushu, so good on him for sticking around, as well as Brain, who will very clearly be revealed to be Ericus's grandfather. I'm calling it now. This trailer really doesn't give us a lot, but Nomura gave us an interview where he said of this game that it would tie all the mysteries so far together, which is a very tall task for this mobile game. Gosh darn it, Kingdom Hearts. I'm still gonna play it. Also, words to remember for this are the multi-layered city of Scala at Kylum, founder Ephemer, and secret society of Keyblade wielders, which sounds like the mad ramblings of a conspiracy theorist in Gravity Falls, so it's perfect to describe a Kingdom Hearts game. What got me most intrigued is how different Scala looks compared to its appearance in Dark Road in Kingdom Hearts 3. The Scala in those games is all white and round. This one is dark and gothic. With the keyword being multi-layered city of Scala, I can imagine that we're gonna delve into that, as well as the submerged Daybreak town beneath Scala. And Secret Society of Keyblade wielders is just, why not at this point? I mean, Sigurd looks like he's part of an ice-white shot cult, so I'm not surprised. I'd also not be surprised if Mickey's visit to Scala at Kylum that was teased a Melody of Memory will serve as the framing device for this story. Lastly, I love that Nomura said in an interview that while Missing Link has an AR mode, he actually hates that type of stuff, and that's why you can just play it normally. We stan a lazy king. And there we have it, the big Kingdom Hearts 4. It feels like honestly just yesterday that Kingdom Hearts 3 was a pie-in-the-sky pipe dream, and now we have Kingdom Hearts 4, it's kinda wild. I expected a game of this scale or close to the scale to be announced at the 20th anniversary event. I just didn't expect it to be Kingdom Hearts 4, but more a spiritual successor to Birth by Sleep maybe. And with there now being 4 different teams working on Kingdom Hearts related product, at least according to this one interview a few years ago, that could still be happening, who knows. The trailer itself gives me big Kingdom Hearts 3 reveal in E3 2013 vibes, but more finished for lack of a better term. Like, don't get me wrong, this game isn't going to come out for a while. My most optimistic guess is Q4 2023. Realistically, I'm expecting 2024, perhaps even 2025. I mean, it's a big game with a lot of care put into it, and it's still COVID's world, so, you know. Regardless, what gives me hope is that we have voice acting, the models all look pretty good, and while the gameplay is clearly fake, it's all in-engine. No special opening CGI here. With Kingdom Hearts 3's tumultuous history with switching from Luminous to Unreal Engine 4, it's easy to be pessimistic. But this is developed in Unreal Engine from the ground up, even if they confirmed that they will switch from Unreal 4 to Unreal 5, a switch that I've been told shouldn't take a while, but I'm no expert. But with all that being said, let's dive right in. Get it? Dive? It's clever. We start out with the name of the new saga. After the Dark Seeker saga, which was named 10 years into said saga, we now have the Lost Master arc, which is based on a dialogue that was first unveiled in 2014. Never changed, Nomura. Interesting to note here is the use of the singular instead of the plural, where before there was talk of the Lost Masters, which could refer to either the Foretellers or the Union Leaders, we now have only one Lost Master. Now, the obvious conclusion is that this refers to the Master of Masters, whose entire deal was that he disappeared, leaving his pupils destitute and ultimately causing the apocalypse through their infighting, which isn't even mentioning how he referred to himself as a Lost Master in Remind, the first installment of this new arc. And yes, I know it's weird that the DLC of the finale of the last saga is being touted as the inaugural entry of this new saga, but Tetsuya Nomura decreed it, and who am I to question him? However, I do believe that the Lost Master could be a clever double meaning related not only to the Master of Masters, but also to another Keyblade Master who's gone missing. Sora himself. I mean, he's technically not a master, but Yensid can eat my ass and choke on it. Connecting Sora and the Master of Masters through the moniker of Lost Master is a good way of designating them as the protagonist and antagonist of the story, sort of mirroring them as central figures of their groups whose disappearances caused huge upsets, and also to hint at the Master of Masters' ultimate identity, which is obviously a time-traveling bad future version of Data Sora from a different dimension. After that comes some very esoteric text, some on-screen, some as dialogue, which you can't really pull anything from. Like, some people people have interpreted this line, "If this isn't the ending you desired, if it brings you despair, then leave this world for another," to be a dig at all the criticism Kingdom Hearts 3 received. Which I know Nomura's a salty king, as evidenced by him fully remaking a Versus 13 trailer in Remind and naming his fake Versus 13 game in Toy Story Varum Rex, which means true king. I've never seen more shade thrown, and honestly more power to him, but I think that takes it a bit far. More interesting to me is the insinuation that the soul will maybe play a pivotal part in the upcoming saga. Souls have been mentioned before in Kingdom Hearts 2 as the primary thing that gives a body life, but unlike the heart or the body, it received scant focus as of now. After that, we see Sora in his fresh new outfit, which we will come back to, before getting woken up by a fan favorite character, Strelitzia. Now, for all of you who don't know, like the person who wrote the English language press release for Kingdom Hearts 4 apparently, Strelitzia was a character introduced in Kingdom Hearts Union Cross, where, upon her introduction, she was immediately murdered, only for a data copy of her to be sent into the future via a time machine, and I just read the sentence I just wrote and wept in despair. That's a lie actually, I love this shit, I eat it up. Yum yum yum. This Strelitzia could either be the real Strelitzia, playing off of the afterlife thing she talked about in the trailer, or it's the data copy, because we also see two black cloaked figures, because Nomura is contractually obligated to put them into every Kingdom Hearts game, whom I presume to be the Master of Masters and some version of Lushu? I say some version because the real Lushu is hanging out in the Keyblade graveyard, spoilers for Kingdom Hearts 3 by the way, and has been doing other stuff for quite some time now. But there's always the possibility of replicas and nobodies and time travel and other vessels, so I'm just gonna assume it's Lushu. And Lushu was the one who took Data Strelitzia out of Data Daybreak Town and into the real world, so I feel like I'm making a convincing argument. Anyway, the point I was trying to make was that Strelitzia confirmed that Sora has been in coma ever since he arrived in Quadratum, but this is what he looked like when he did. And this is what he looks like now. Which leaves me with but one conclusion. Strelitzia found this comatose guy, and the first thought that crossed her mind was, this boy needs a haircut. And then she changed his clothes also. Which is creepy, Strelitzia. I know you come from the ancient times, but this doesn't fly in the year of our Lord 2022 anymore. All jokes aside, I quite like Sora's new outfit. I know a lot of people find it a bit too mundane, but Sora's direction since Kingdom Hearts 2 has always been towards the more sensible. I guess Nomura really took the belt and zipper comments to heart, because now everything just looks like it's straight out of a high-end fashion boutique. We do know that Sora will look a bit more Kingdom Hearts-esque once he leaves Quadratum, which will be interesting to see. Will his shoes grow in size like he's a feet version of the Grinch? Only time will tell. Strelitzia as a whole is interesting, seeing as Nomura seems utterly determined to remake Versus 13 in his image through Kingdom Hearts. Some people have speculated that Strelitzia would play the role of Stella, aka the heroine people would have preferred over Final Fantasy XV's Aerith at home, Luna. In the original Versus 13, Stella was not only Noctis's love interest and connected to him through the Goddess of Death, but also served as his rival. Now, I don't know if they're gonna go this route with Strelitzia, but it could be fun, though I just as much love to see her as Sora's companion in Quadratum. They could have cute friendship moments together. And then people would ship them way more than they ship Sora and Kairi, because Kairi is a pink piece of wet cardboard. Speaking of Quadratum, I do enjoy it as a fully realistic setting, though admittedly the fact that we already had San Francisco in Kingdom Hearts 3 and that this is that world just more makes this a little less special. Still, I'm looking forward to how far they're willing to go with the realism stuff. Will the replacement for the Remy minigame be Sora working 2 jobs at McDonald's in order to pay rent? Which is apparently prohibitively expensive because yes, Sora, upon this trailer being released, was immediately doxxed. Or maybe Sora, upon defeating Darkseid, will become a superhero celebrity and the rest of the game will be about fame changing him and him forgetting where his roots are in the new hit Disney Channel original.
Hi, I'm Dylan Sprouse, and you're watching Disney Channel.
A superhero route could be a good way of integrating Marvel if Quadratum is connected in some way to the Marvel universe. You know how Pinocchio and the 101 Dalmatians were hanging around in Traverse Town in the first game? Kinda like that, but with Tom Holland and Robert Downey Jr. Because they're not gonna use Square Enix's Avengers. Speaking of unusual crossovers, Star Wars and Kingdom Hearts? And it's Return of the Jedi. That's a weird choice. Not exactly the starting point I would have picked, but then again, I'm not Tetsuya Nomura, so who am I to say? At this point, one of the mysterious figures watching all this proceed comment that the world Sora will return to will not be the same he left, which arguably could mean anything, but I've long since held the belief that the realm of unreality and Quadratum have amazing potential for integrating the live-action Disney remakes. Wouldn't that be fun? I mean, they're shit movies, but I'm sure the team over at Square could make them into great levels. Finally, to end it all off, we see Donald and Goofy are still around to make sure that we know that this is still a Disney joint, which I don't know why that was ever a question. Kingdom Hearts is a Disney product, Square Enix only develops it, so whoever speculated that this new saga would focus on Final Fantasy worlds was a dumbass and always has been. We see Donald and Goofy exploring the underworld before being confronted by someone who's Hades. We all know it's Hades, he's Nomura's favorite Disney character, obviously he's gonna get even more screen time. I like what this implies for the integration of Disney worlds into the plotline, something which Kingdom Hearts 3 also attempted with arguably mixed results, but it's still better than Dream Drop Distance, the worst game. Donald and Goofy looking for clues about Sora in an afterworld makes complete sense, and they've been to the Greek underworld so many times at this point. I mean, it's a little gauche that they think Sora could possibly end up in Disney hell, but you know, and that's it. That's the end of the trailer. Magic in the Making, the very cute replacement for the by now mimetic now in development. So what to take from this? Well, I am very excited for it. I already talked about when I think it will release, so maybe I will just indulge in some dreams. Drop Distance. And there's only one wish I have. Kairi. Nomura, I know you hate her with a burning passion, as evidenced by her being constantly kidnapped, sidelined, murdered, or getting her ass beat when she fights until a heart projection of Sora takes over her body in her own game, in which she was playable for maybe 0% of the runtime. She's on the fucking cover, damn it. Just give us a tutorial with Kairi like the Roxas tutorial in Kingdom Hearts 2. Have her hang out with the Wayfinder trio. Have an extended gameplay section with them exploring the realm of darkness or whatever. She was very cool to play in Remind. Please, Nomura, it's been 20 years. Literally. Also, don't make Riku playable again, I'm sick of him.